Hello students, welcome to this brand new video presentation. This is Saraswati Guidance and today's topic is Standard 12 Economics Utility Analysis. We have seen some introduction to this topic in Standard 11, but in Standard 12 we are going to learn something more about this topic. Okay, so let's make no more delay and let's delve into this video presentation. So let's get into it. Standard 12 Economics Utility Analysis. The first question that comes to our mind is, what is utility? Okay, so utility is the capacity of a commodity to satisfy a want. So utility is nothing but, in other words, the power of a commodity to satisfy a want. Let's take these two examples. First one is a single banana. If one banana satisfies your hunger, suppose you are hungry, and if one banana satisfies your hunger, then it means that that one single banana has the capacity to satisfy your want to eat. So the utility of that one banana is, of course, 1. Okay, but if you are more hungry and if one banana cannot satisfy your hunger, if you need 2 bananas to satisfy your hunger, then it means that one banana was not able to satisfy your hunger, but 2 bananas are now required. That's why you need 2 bananas to satisfy your hunger. So you want to eat 2 bananas, and in this case the utility of each banana is 1/2, because one banana was not able to satisfy your hunger. So 2 bananas means each banana has the utility of a half, 1/2, that is. So once again, let's go through the definition of utility. Utility is nothing but the capacity of a commodity to satisfy a want. Okay, on to the next topic. We are now going to study features of utility or characteristics of utility. Okay, before that, let's take a look at your textbook. You can open your textbook, page number 8. As you can see on your screen, it's page number 8. And on page number 8, we are going to get first introduction of this topic, and then we are going to learn the major points of this topic. First one is, let us recall, and in this section, let us recall, there are 5 points. These points are taken from the topic of utility analysis which you studied in Standard 11. The last point, take a look at the last point, 5th point. Utility is the capacity of a commodity to satisfy human wants, and in other words, utility is the want satisfying power of a good. Okay, after this introduction, go to the bottom of the page where you are going to see features of utility, and there are many features. As you can see, there are about 10 features, as you can see on your screen and in your notebook also, page number 8 once again. And let's study the features of utility. Okay, on your screen there is the example of this first point, first feature of utility. Utility is relative. On your screen you can see some woolen clothes. Okay, now why am I showing you the picture of some woolen clothes? This is because if we take a look at your textbook on page number 8, at the bottom you can see features of utility, and the first one is relative concept. So in this particular feature, the first feature is relative concept. It means that utility is relative. What is the meaning of this phrase, utility is relative? Let's get back into our presentation and let's get back to that image of woolen clothes. Okay, now there are 2 words on your screen, summer and winter. In which season do you think the woolen clothes can be used? In summer or in winter? Of course, in summer you cannot use the winter clothes, the woolen clothes, but in winter, yes, you can use woolen clothes. Naturally, the utility of the woolen clothes is relative to the season. You see, did you understand this example? Utility is relative means the utility of a particular commodity depends upon certain factors. In our case, in case of the woolen clothes, season is important. So the utility of woolen clothes depends upon the season. In other words, in words of economics, we say that utility of woolen clothes is relative to the seasons. This is another example of relativity of utility. Okay, we can see on our screen a picture of sand. Okay, it's common sand. You can see this sand lying on the beaches, seashores and all that. The question is where the sand will be more useful, on the beach or on a construction site. If we consider a beach, we can see that the sand is going to just lay idle on the beach without much use. Okay, but at a construction site, the sand is going to come to the use of construction. Naturally, as far as utility of this sand is considered, it is relative to its use, its place. Okay, utility of the sand is related to the place. It's more useful, its utility is more at a construction site than the beach. Okay, next feature of the utility. Utility is subjective. Okay, now what is this? On your screen you can see a stethoscope. By the way, I am taking all these examples from your textbook itself. Okay, if you take a look at your textbook, same types of examples can be seen. For example, if we come to the relative concept, there is the example of woolen clothes as well as sand, and in the second feature, subjective concept, there is the example of stethoscope given at the end of the second feature, subjective concept. You can see that, okay, in the second column at the top. Okay, let's get back to the video presentation, shall we? Okay, stethoscope. So utility is subjective. This is the second feature of utility. Now what is this? What is the meaning of utility is subjective? The meaning is that utility depends upon subjects. For example, here this is the picture of a stethoscope. A stethoscope can be used by a common man and a doctor, but a common man cannot understand the exact use of the stethoscope, whereas the doctor definitely can. Naturally, there are two subjects here, common man and doctor, but the utility of the stethoscope is more to a doctor than to a common man. Thus, utility is subjective. Okay, the next feature, utility is ethically neutral. Ethically neutral means utility does not understand what is right and what is wrong. Utility is utility. For example, on your screen, again, this example has been taken from your textbook. On your screen, you can see a scalpel knife. Okay, normally this is used for biological purposes, for medical purposes, for surgery by doctors. But it can also be used by a criminal for taking life, and it can also be used by a doctor for saving a life. But as the feature itself says, utility is ethically neutral. The knife will be equally sharp into the hands of criminal, and it will be equally sharp into the hands of a doctor also. So utility exists for both the subjects, criminal as well as doctor, since the utility does not understand what is right or wrong. Utility is just utility. Now, utility does not mean usefulness. You see, people generally confuse between these two words, utility and usefulness. But there is a difference between utility and usefulness. What's the difference in utility and usefulness? Okay, again, don't be shocked. This example has been taken from your textbook as well. You can see a liquor bottle on your screen and 2 glasses. Now, a liquor is generally wanted by an addict very much, of course, we all know that. But is it useful to that addict? Absolutely not. On the contrary, liquor harms an addict who is addicted to the liquor. So, for an addict, there is some utility of the liquor, but is it useful to him? Absolutely not. That's why utility does not mean usefulness. Utility is again utility. It is a power to satisfy some want. It does not necessarily mean that it is always useful to the person who wants to satisfy the need by using the utility of a particular commodity. Okay. Moving on to the next feature of utility. Utility does not mean pleasure. Okay. Take a look at this picture. This example has been taken from your textbook as well. This is an injection. Okay. Its utility to a patient is tremendous. A patient has a lot of utility of an injection, but a patient does not enjoy it. Have you ever enjoyed being shot by an injection? It's not a pleasant experience, but at the same time, that injection has a lot of utility for you, because that injection is going to save you from some ailment, some disease. So utility does not always mean pleasure. Utility does not mean satisfaction either. This is the next feature of utility. Remember what we are studying? We are studying utility and its features. Take a look at this picture. Utility does not mean satisfaction. Okay. Here we have a picture of a man drinking water. But what is the meaning of utility does not mean satisfaction? One glass of water has some utility. Absolutely, yes. But if the thirsty man cannot satisfy his thirst using just one bottle of water, then the utility of that one single bottle of water is not satisfaction for that man. That man may require 2 or even 3 bottles of water to completely satisfy, to completely quench his thirst. So utility does not always mean satisfaction either. Now, the next feature of utility is hypothetical. That is, utility is imaginary. What is the meaning of this? This means that utility cannot be measured. Like this, can you measure the utility in terms of length, or in terms of liters, or in terms of kilos? No, utility cannot be measured in these units. But there is a very important point to remember here. Utility is always positive. There is no negative utility. The meaning of this is there is always some utility to a particular commodity. Negative utility means that particular commodity or object does not have any usefulness, does not have any power to satisfy any want of anybody. Okay, so utility is always positive, because every commodity has some sort of utility to satisfy some want of somebody. Okay, the next feature, and this is a very easy feature to understand. One utility can be used to satisfy many wants. That's why we have used the word multi-purpose. The feature's name is multi-purpose utility. It means that one utility can be used to satisfy many wants. For example, yes, electricity. It can be used to operate a TV. It can be used to operate a computer. It can be used to operate a mixer, a fan, a tube light. The usefulness of all these devices is different, but electricity is common to all of them. So one utility can be used to satisfy many wants. The feature of this utility is called utility is multi-purpose. The next one, Utility depends on the intensity of want. What is the meaning of this? This is again an easy one to understand. Take a look at this picture. What is this? A common thali that we come across in all the restaurants. Okay. Now, who wants to have a thali? A hungry person or a person who has already eaten his lunch? Naturally, utility of this thali for a hungry person is more intense because he's hungry. But utility for a person who has eaten lunch already is less intense. So, utility depends upon the intensity of want of a person. Okay, last one. Utility is the basis of demand. Okay, when people feel utility of a thing, for example, when people feel some sort of want, they want to satisfy it. And when a large number of people feel the same want, and when a large number of people want to satisfy that same want, it leads to the demand which is created in the market. So, when people feel the utility of a thing, they create the demand of that thing in the market. So, market is dependent upon people's wants, people's feeling of utility for a particular thing. For example, a mobile phone, or houses, or a car. Why these things are in demand in the market all the time? Because people see utility in these things. These things can satisfy some wants of the people. Okay, that's why people demand these things from the market, and that's why the prices of these things in the market are always rising. They are always high. Okay, now we are going to study the next point in our topic. Before this, we have studied the first point, that is utility and its features. After features, we are going to learn about forms of utility. Okay, now let's go to your textbook once again. On page number 9, at the bottom you can see a picture, and above that this point, types of utility. How many types are there? If you go on page number 10, you can see that there are about 6 types of utilities. Let's study all these utilities one by one. Since all these types are already explained in the form of pictures, I'm not going to show you any more pictures. Let's study this point directly from the textbook. Okay, first point, form utility. We are going to study different types of utility. Okay, first, form utility. When utility is created due to the change in the shape or structure of an existing material, it is called form utility. For example, on the left side in the picture, there is a log of wood, but on the right side, where the arrows are pointing, you can see that the same wood had changed its form to form various forms of furniture. Okay, there is a door, there is a chair, there is a stool, and there is a bench, there is a table. So when forms of a particular commodity changes, it creates different utility for the same form of material, same form of commodity. Okay, place utility. You can see that there is a picture of boxes of mangoes, an aeroplane, and the picture of a city. What that picture means is that mangoes, a box of mango, does not have any utility where the mangoes are produced. Okay, the actual utility of the box of mangoes lies in cities, in villages, where people buy them from the market, pay money for them, and then consume those mangoes in their homes. So place utility means utility of a particular commodity according to the place. Now, third type of utility, service utility. It means that utility which arises or which comes out of various services. For example, services of doctors, services of teachers, services of lawyers, etc. Fourth point, knowledge utility. You see, every object has some sort of use to it, and if you have the knowledge about how to use that particular object, then the utility of that particular commodity is called knowledge utility. For example, mobile phones. If you know how to operate the mobile phone, if you know how to operate the mobile phone using various apps to do various things, naturally it is called knowledge utility. Okay, the next one is possession utility. Possession utility means the utility of a particular commodity which depends upon who possesses that particular commodity. For example, there is a vendor of the fruit. That lady in the picture is selling fruits. For her, the utility of the fruits is different, and the people who are buying fruits from that lady, for them the utility of those particular fruits is different. So possession utility means utility that depends upon who possesses that particular commodity.